Good morning. This is going to be a day where we're going to attach the sidewalls to the bottom of the stand-up. These are the tools you're going to need today. What we're going to be doing is, one is you use those snippers to cut the copper in thirds. As you can see on the right-hand side, that's kind of how it should look. The drill has a 1/16 of an inch drill bit, and that's to make sure that any of the holes that were covered by epoxy that you can drill through. You usually do this before we start. And then this saw right here is for the crack in the middle. If any fiberglass got in the middle, you just cut that out so you can easily put in and shape the board on the bottom, easily put in the copper stitches. So we're going to get started on all this. And okay, I'm going to show you what we do here. I usually take the saw, and you'll see that there's a little bit of fiberglass. Very easy. You just take this saw to cut it, stick it in the groove there, and cut it. Things are away, and that's it. Now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be stitching up this first on the bottom. There's a couple of holes here that are, and you got to be very careful when re-drilling these holes. Just go slow because it's so easy to break them. And then if you break them, you're kind of stuck. So you notice I'm just trying to keep it as light as possible. I'll let the drill do all the work. And I should be ready to go here. Okay, so all we're gonna do right now is simply stick these through like that. And go all the way down. And what I do on the bottom so it doesn't fall off, because we're going to have to turn them, is I just take one side of it and bend it. So that way when I turn it over they don't fall out. Because what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to twist them and tighten them so it creates the curve that's on the bottom here. So let's put them all in first. And what you're going to notice is that what I do on all of this stuff is in the beginning, when I do the stitches and I tighten them up, I tighten them up very loose. And the reason why is that you want to make sure everything fits together properly. So this is an easy step. Okay, I'm going to stop it now and show you how it looks when we turn it over. As you can see, all the stitches are very lightly tightened, but at the same time you're seeing that there's some shaping formed here with the pattern. Now what's real important, and you'll start seeing it on the side here, and I will show you how it should look, but I've tightened up a few of these at the end here. You want to keep the end very loose, and as you notice that you can see here, I'm going to see if I can get a better shot. There we go. What you want is you want that to be nice and even all the way down. Now of course it's going to have a different shape as you tighten it, but you want both sides to hit nice and even So that's what you do when you set up the board and the stitches. You're using everything, placing it, tightening it till it gets in place exactly how you want it. So this is a time where you just take your time and do it. I'll show you how it looks at the end. Okay, I have everything pretty much tightened up. And you notice that I put a clamp on either side just so it's holding its shape. It makes it much easier to tighten everything and line everything up once you do that. So I'm going all the way down the line. You see the slight curve upwards from the middle. And I just want to show you a few things not to get worried about. Sometimes this will happen. Don't worry about it. Once the sides are on, everything will start forming. There's these little things that will happen as you do the board, and I don't want you to be concerned about them. That's the scoop. Okay, so we turn it back over again, and we take out the two side pieces. Now, as you can see, as we go down the board, you're also going to have to put on the tail end back part, which is right here. Very important to know that there's a longer side to this. You want the longer side on the top, the shorter side on the top, and the longer side on the bottom. Alrighty, I want to show you a close-up. What I do is I put the sides on top of each other and then very loosely put the copper stitches in, and you'll see why down the road. As you can see, the board is starting to take shape. It's starting to look a little bit like a paddle board. All I've done here is, like I showed you in the beginning, just loosely tightened up tighten these up. This one wasn't even tightened. And then the next step is you want to do the back, and I want to make sure that you understand that the shorter side, which is hard to tell but it is shorter, the shorter top is pointed to the top and the longer is on the bottom. As you can see in the back here, everything is very loosely stitched. Everything, and the reason is so you can make adjustments. Notice how I put it's about a 25-inch board in the middle to hold everything up, and you move this down as you start stitching, but this way it's much easier to have this up and running when you're working it. Okay, as you can see, we have everything stitched, and what I wanted to mention is I typically in the front do the first few stitches in the front on both sides. It's much easier to get that over with now. Make sure you keep all your stitches all the way through nice and loose. One of the things, and I'll do a close-up on it, all your stitches should be nice and clean like that on the inside, kind of pulled semi-tight all the way down, so make sure that that's going on. Let's see if I can get a better close-up here, but I think you get the picture. Boom. Yeah, there we go. So they also look like that. The next step is, what I would do is I would stitch and stitch the back part first, and get that all over with. And what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to add two holes, one here and one here with the 16th-inch drill. And before you turn over the board, this is the only place where you tighten up all your stitches. Okay, I put a clamp to hold it in place while I tighten everything up. And what I wanted to do is a close-up so you could see how it's supposed to look. And you can see that it's supposed to overlap right there, just like that. So there's a nice smooth edge on the outside. And you do that to both the sides. This is done before you turn it over. Okay, everything is stitched up. Let me tell you the process. What I usually do is I start from the middle and go to the front, and I line it up so these two are lined up. You can see they're lined up pretty nicely, and as I go down the edge, you see how I match the edge up. Let me put it on. See how nice and clean that is all the way through. And this is what happens when you bevel those edges. It makes a nice tight seam all the way through. Then when we're done with it, we go over to here and we get the front all lined up. So you want to go down both sides first and then line up the front last. But see how nicely each is lined up, and that's what you need to see. And the only way to easily do that is by stitching everything up in front first and then doing this area last. Then when you're done with the front, you just do the same with the back. You start from here, go to the back, go to the other side, go to the back all the way. And it takes me about an hour to do this whole stitching process. It might take you guys about 2 hours. I've been doing this for about 10 years, so I got it down. So just something to think about, and just take your time. Okay, once you get that done, the other is lining up the board. And as you can see, I have this little setup here, which is kind of a pivot, and it allows me to easily adjust the board so it's even all the way down. Now, I've already adjusted and checked out the level from the front, the middle, and the back, and it's all level right now, so this is where you want to be. The next step is we're going to start putting little patches of epoxy along the edges to hold the boat together so we can pull out the stitches tomorrow. So that's the scoop, and I'll see you when I start doing that.